Hello everybody! So for those of you new to the channel, I am working on collecting every LEGO Star Wars minifigure ever made, with the oldest guys up at the top there and the newest guys down here at the bottom. And every blank spot is a guy I still need. But every now and then, I like to take a look and figure out what my most valuable minifigures are. So without further ado, let's do the top 10 most valuable minifigures in my collection. But before we hop into the top 10, I got some honorable mentions here. And before I go into these guys, how I got these prices, I cross-referenced a couple of sites. I've got my entire collection on Brick Economy to kind of, easily take a look at what stuff generally is. However, that site isn't super reliable for very accurate and up-to-date data. So I got like my top 20 guys on there and then cross-referenced with Bricklink to check what their prices are. So the prices for these guys are based on the average for a good condition minifigure goes for on Bricklink. But it is possible that a guy or two fell through the cracks, but to the best of my ability, this is my top 10. But we got a couple of honorable mentions here. At number 13, we have Count Dooku. This guy was released in 2013 on the Duel on Geonosis set. And this guy desperately needs a re-release. Not because this is a bad minifigure at all. In fact, this is a really good minifigure. I mean, they got the face down right. His torso looks very plain there. Not a whole lot going on, but he does have a very plain outfit in the movies. But this is the last Count Dooku we got way back in 2013. It's been over 12 years now since we've gotten a Count Dooku. And his price reflects it. He goes for about $80 right now. So pretty expensive. He is a really good minifigure. He even comes with this super cool chrome bladed hilt. It's like the curved blade that he's got. He does just have the starch cape that they always released back in the day. And then taking off his cape and hair there, you can see his alternate face, just very, plain looking, very neutral looking face, and then no back printing at all here. So it's a really good minifigure, I think. Count Dooku, it's a plain minifigure, right? There's not a whole lot going on with this guy, but Count Dooku is a pretty plain looking character in Star Wars in general. But we also have here in the middle the Jedi Consular. So she was released in 2013 in the Jedi Defender class shuttle. It's like an old Republic ship there, and it was pretty cool. She goes for about, let's see here, $88 now on Bricklink. So again, getting a little bit more expensive than Dooku. And this is a really cool minifigure. It's the same hat piece here that Luminara has, and she's even the same species as Luminara. But she's all done in white, and it looks really good. The prints on this minifigure is pretty fantastic. Gold trimming throughout the outfit there. And then flipping her to the back, she does not have an alternate head there. So pretty interesting that she was not giving an alternate head. In 2013, it was pretty common for characters to get alternate heads at that point. So, oh well. It still is a pretty fantastic minifigure. Her head is molded in the olive green there. You can see the tattoos. And it is different from what Luminara looks like. So it is a pretty cool minifigure in my opinion. Number 11 of my top most valuable minifigures is TX-20. This guy was released in 2011 in Mace Windu's Starfighter, and he goes for about $89. So just a little bit more than the Jedi Consular, but still a very expensive minifigure. And man, I wish that we would get another one of these guys. No update at all to the mold. Like, they just knocked this out of the park the first time. And it sucks that they have not given us a new one at all, because I would love to get an updated TX-20 or a tactical droid, because this looks pretty fantastic. He is molded in that dark blue color, and then he's got tan prints all around. He does even have additional printing for his insignia here, and then you can kind of see he has eyes in there as well. He's got two of these like curved arms, so no straight arm for the tactical droid. You can kind of see in the back here, he's got this hollow bit area, but nothing attaches to that. That's just detail or something from the mold, not quite sure. But without further ado, let's hop into my number 10 most valuable Star Wars minifigure. So at number 10, we have the classic Phase 2 Captain Rex. So this guy used to be much more expensive. But obviously with the release of the UCS Venator and the Captain Rex's microfighter set, he has dropped quite substantially in price, which is great for people to get him a little bit easier, but he's still really expensive. This guy was released in 2013 in the Bark Speeder with sidecar set, and even though the new guys have come out pretty recently at a very cheap, in a very cheap set, he still goes for about $90. So a very expensive minifigure to add to your collection, but dang, this guy looks awesome. I think he looks a lot better than the new one. I just kind of like this Clone Wars style a little bit more than kind of that blend that they've been doing in recent years. But you can see all the little detail he's got. You can see the weld marks where he, fused his Phase 1 and Phase 2 armor. He's got the notches for the battle droids he's killed, a little bit of dirt. And what this minifigure does that the new one does not do is he's got a cloth waist cape. And man, I wish they would bring these back. A lot of people wish they would bring these back. It's so much better than the printed on waist capes that they've been doing. So please bring that back, Lego. He does have a printed part for his comma here, and it continues onto an actual cloth comma. So pretty cool. His helmet looks pretty amazing. That blend of Phase 1 and Phase 2. Love to see it. We pop that head off, or helmet off. You can see his face there. And he's got a pretty good face print there. He's got the Clone Wars style. Sorry, he's shaking quite a bit there. He's got the Clone Wars style face print, but he's got that stubble there, which does make it exclusive to Captain Rex. So very cool. Flipping him around, you can kind of see some of that additional detailing on the back there. And just a very well done minifigure all around, in my opinion. But that does it for number 10. Let's head on to number 9. In number 9, we have yet another Captain Rex. This is Phase 1 Captain Rex. This guy came out in 2011 in the Battle for Geonosis set. And he also, just like the Phase 2, goes for about $90. Captain Rex just has that hefty price tag. He's a fan favorite, and those prices show it. So this guy came out a couple years before that 2013 Phase 2 version, and it's a pretty good one. He uses this old style plastic comma and waist cape, and I don't think that's a very good, piece. I mean, it's fine for what it is, but the cloth ones just are a little bit better. He's also got the classic rangefinder attached to him. But the helmet here looks awesome. It's that Phase 1 Clone Wars style helmet. It looks pretty amazing. If we take off his helmet, you can see he also has that stubble, but it is different from the Phase 2 one, just slightly. It's a little bit darker. So it is an exclusive face print to this Captain Rex. So pretty cool there. If we flip him around, we can see some of that detailing. And then if I remove that plastic piece, you can see even better. And it is just the standard clone trooper print that they used for the clone troopers at the time, except he does have those blue arms, which make him look a little bit more unique. But that does it for number 9. Let's head on to number 8. At number 8, we have Bausch, and this is a cool, unique minifigure. Bausch came out in 2012 in the Jabba's Palace set, and she goes for about $100 right now. So she's jumped up a little bit in price since the last time I did one of these videos, and that's definitely because of the UCS sail barge and kind of the love that this scene from Return of the Jedi has gotten this past year. So this is a pretty cool minifigure. It is still a unique minifigure. They have not updated Bausch since 2012, and this is pretty amazing. Like, again, they just knocked this out of the park the first time around. The prints on here are pretty amazing. The helmet there is awesome. This is such a cool helmet. They did so well on this. It's got tons of different printing, dual molded, and it just looks so good in my opinion. If we pop that off, it does have the Princess Leia face there because it's Bausch in disguise. So yeah, very, very cool looking. If we flip her around, she does have an alternate face and a little brick built backpack there for her respirator. So it's a pretty good piece, I think. Adds a little bit to the minifigure. And then popping off that backpack, we can see that back print a little bit better. And again, very good looking back print. Like, this is a well done minifigure by all accounts. Everything on this is really cool. And you know what? The price reflects that. Again, $100 for this guy. Very expensive. So very glad to have Bausch in my collection. At number 7, we have just a generic Sith warrior. Although this guy is not generic at all. That's just what his name is on Bricklink. He is a very cool and unique looking trooper or Sith warrior here. He also came out in the Jedi Defender class shuttle in 2013. However, he is a little bit more expensive than the Jedi Consular. He goes for about $105 on Bricklink. And this is a pretty immaculate minifigure. The prints on this guy are so good. He's got the dark red hood there, but if we pop this off, we can just see all those prints all around. This is so detailed. Lots of little lines and etchings all over this guy. He looks like I had a robot mask there. He's also got some metallic printing there, just making it shine a little bit more. Flipping into the back. He does not have an alternate face print, so same as the Jedi Consular. But again, that back print looks really, really good. This is a cool minifigure. A lot of the Old Republic guys have just gotten so expensive in the past, years since this set was released, and this guy is no exception. He is very, very cool. But this does it for number 7. Let's go on to number 6. At number 6, we have a Boba Fett. It was inevitable for a Boba Fett to be added to this list. Boba Fett is a fan favorite, and his minifigures usually are pretty expensive. So this guy is actually the newest minifigure in the entire lineup here. He came out in 2015 in the UCS Slave 1. If you want to get him in good condition right now, he's about $110 on Bricklink. And this is a really good Boba Fett. They have made so many good Boba Fetts, and it's hard to figure out what's new and different about them. They all look so good. But the big thing with him, besides a combination of different things, is this cloth comma here. It's this dark tan with a little orange print on it. It looks pretty good. The helmet and the prints on Boba Fett here are very similar to a lot of other Boba Fetts. It looks really good. Obviously, the detailing on this is pretty immaculate. Lots of little things, little scratches, little nicks. And then if we take that helmet off there, he does have this head print here. I believe it's exclusive, or maybe it's released in one other guide, but it's a very expensive head to get on the aftermarket. I've actually looked at this for a specific project. I'm like, oh, not gonna happen. But it's a cool minifigure. It's kind of unique because usually Boba Fett's got that stubble printed on him. But yeah, other than that, he's got some pretty cool arm prints there. And then he does, of course, have his jetpack molded in that sand green. And then popping off all that additive stuff, we can see a little bit more of that detail. His back print, it's just where his jetpack attaches, and lots of little detail there, little scratches, little straps. He's got his belt. He does not have an alternate head there, an alternate face. Again, interesting that a lot of these characters don't have alternate faces. In fact, so far, only 2 have, Bao, Shin, and Dooku. But so that's a little bit interesting. He does have this another really cool arm print there. They are different from each other. Love that because obviously that's accurate. He's got the mythosaur here and a little wrist rocket. So pretty cool. Watch those wrist rockets. This guy, again, very cool. Very glad to have in my collection. But that does it for number 6. Let's go on to see number 5. At number 5, we have maybe my favorite minifigure in this lineup. We have Agent Kolar. This guy came out in 2012 in Palpatine's Arrest, and he goes for a whopping $115 on Bricklink. And this guy is so cool. He's very unique. Obviously, the only time we've ever gotten an Agent Kolar. I would love for them to redo the Palpatine's Arrest set. So many of those minifigures desperately need an update or an additional guy, and Agent Kolar looks amazing. He doesn't need an update, but it would be cool for a lot of other people to get this guy without shelling out $115 for him. But you know what? He's very, very cool. He's got this exclusive hair-head combo here with his Zabrak horns and the black ponytail, black hair with his ponytail on the back. Looks very, very good. If we pop that off here, we can, and it is this kind of a rubbery piece, so you gotta be careful with that because the prints will rub off pretty easily. It's a pretty common occurrence for those type of pieces. His head here looks pretty good. You can kind of see just very small prints for his tattoos there, so very cool. And then his torso print looks pretty great. It's just the Jedi robe looks very simple, right? In fact, it kind of looks like Mace Windu, just like this, so kind of interesting. He does have this starchy brown cape here, and if we pop that off, we can see his back print, which again looks very good, very detailed for something that you legitimately can't see anything of when you put that cape and hair on. So this is a very cool minifigure. I think it's my personal favorite from this lineup. I think this little hair horn combo here looks so good on him. But that does it for number 5. We're getting into some very expensive guys. Let's check out number 4. At number 4, we have the one and only Pre Vizsla. This guy came out in 2012 in Pre Vizsla's Mandalorian Starfighter, and he goes for quite a big jump from the previous minifigure. He goes for about $140, which is insane. But this is a very cool minifigure that I honestly don't really see Lego ever making again. I don't know, he's kind of obscure, right? And I don't know, he's cool as heck, but I don't know if Lego will ever make him unless they start touching Clone Wars sets again. But he looks pretty fantastic. He's got his torso here molded in the blue, but the arms and legs in the sand blue, so cool contrast there. He's got some reflective coloring there, just dark gray for the prints of his armor there. But his helmet is molded in this gunmetal dark gray here, so it looks very cool. He's got the Death Watch logo on the top as well as the blue striping. And then if we pop this helmet off, we can see his face there done in that ugly Clone Wars styling. But you know, you get what you get with these Clone Wars minifigures. It's definitely a Clone Wars. I was gonna say it's not the worst one, but you know, it's not one of the best ones either. But if we flip to the side, he does have a super cool pauldron here with the Death Watch logo, and as well as some additional detailing with some darker blue. It just makes it pop a little bit more. So very cool looking. And then on the back, he does have a jetpack molded in the gunmetal gray. If we pop that off, he's actually got no back detailing at all, which, you know, makes sense. The jetpack is covering most of that up, but compared to a lot of the other minifigures, which do have back printing when it's covered up, it stinks a little bit, right? But this is 2012. They weren't doing that super common back then. Cutting costs where they could, I guess, but you know, it is what it is. Again, also no head print on the alternate face print, so you're only ever going to see Pre Vizsla from this angle anyway, I bet. But that does it for number 4. Let's see who number 3 is. At number 3, we have the Phase 1 Commander Fox. So this is actually the oldest minifigure I have in this lineup. He is from the 2008 Spider Droid, and he goes for about $150 right now. So recently, they actually found a variant of this Commander Fox where he's got some red striping going through his mid-torso print here. I do not have that one. That one is actually worth a lot more than $150, if you can believe it. But, you know, I'm very happy that I have any of these Commander Foxes. I had this one as a kid, and he's a little beat up. He's got some print wear, unfortunately. But that doesn't matter to me. I love this minifigure. He was one of my favorites as a kid. He looks very good. He's got all the old plastic clone trooper accessories with the rangefinder, the comma, and the waist cape. So let's take those off. And now we can see his prints a little bit better. I remember as a kid, I would just take all of his accessories off and just make him a generic Coruscant Guard trooper, because that's what he looks like here. He's got the Coruscant Guard logo printed on his chest here. And then if we take the visor off, he just looks like a very generic trooper. Me and my brother actually both got this set as a kid, so I've got 2 lying around. So yeah, I love this guy. This is one of my favorites as well. On the back here, he does actually have some printing that makes him exclusive, unlike that Phase 1 Captain Rex. He's got a red belt as well as some striping here. And then if we pop that helmet off, it's just the generic Clone Wars clone trooper face that every clone trooper had at this time, minus Captain Rex, I guess. But very cool minifigure. Very glad to have in my collection. But that does it for number 3. Let's see who number 2 is. At number 2, we have yet another minifigure released in that Jedi Defender class shuttle. This is what Lego originally referred to just as Jedi Knight, a very generic character. But I think fans have found his real name because Bricklink now calls him Cal Sen Durak. Again, came out in 2013, but this guy is the most valuable of the 3 minifigures. He goes for about $160, which is pretty insane. But he is a very cool minifigure. I remember this guy from like the animated cutscenes that they made for the video game, and he looks super cool, and he jumps right out from those scenes. He's got the Zabrak horns molded in the nougat color as well as his face, and just like the horns here go for an insane amount of money. I remember the set usually gave you 2 of those pieces, so if you had an extra one lying around like, dang, you can pay for a pretty expensive thing if you just sell that one little piece. Otherwise, he does have sand green arms and legs, but his torso is molded in that brown, so that olive green armor is printed in. On the back here, he's got no alternate face, of course. Makes sense for this guy because there's nothing to cover that up. And then he's got a very, very good back print there with kind of the hood and armor popping through. This is a very cool minifigure and definitely my favorite of the three guys. Sith Warrior is really, really cool, but I think this guy just edges him out just a little bit and is my favorite from that set for sure. But this is my number 2. Let's check and see who my number 1 most valuable minifigure is. So at number 1, we have Queen Amidala, and this is such a cool and unique minifigure. This guy came out in 2012 on the Gungan sub and goes for about $200 if you want to get her in good condition, which is absolutely insane. But this is the only time that LEGO has ever put out Queen Amidala with some very exclusive pieces with her skirt here and her headdress. And 2012 was just a big year for LEGO. Between 2012 and 2013, there are over half of the minifigures in this lineup from those 2 years, which is pretty insane. LEGO just released some absolute bangers those years. And Queen Amidala is absolutely no exception. She looks phenomenal. Her little dress here is an exclusive piece to only her. Never seen again in any other minifigure in Star Wars or beyond. And it's very cool. It's just this, kind of hollow piece here, but it looks very good. Detailing for like the intricacies of her dress. Her head mold also looks really, really good. It's again molded in that soft plastic, so you got to be careful about rubbing off those prints there. But if we take that off, we can see the back there, and you can just barely see some of that detail on the hood. And then again on the front, just lots of, if I pop that back, lots of little detail hidden away. And of course, she's got her white makeup on, making her look like she's in disguise, very royal. So very, very cool minifigure. This again is just so good, so good, and her price reflects that because the Gungan sub was not a very good set. Like, I don't think a whole lot of people really wanted that, but dang it, if you didn't pick that up, now you got to pay $200 for Queen Amidala if you want her to do any episode 1 stuff. So this is a very cool minifigure. So that about wraps us up for my top 10 most valuable minifigures, plus a few honorable mentions. It was a lot of fun to go back and see some of these minifigures that I loved as a kid and be kind of shocked about how much money they're worth now. So it was pretty interesting. I love Fox, I love Asian Kolar. Captain Rex was another one of my childhood favorites. I absolutely did not spend any of this money, these prices for these guys. Luckily, most of these guys were already in my collection from when I was a kid. So very fortunate in that regard, but these were all so cool. I would love to know what your guys' favorite minifigure from this lineup is, or if you guys have any of the other rare guys that I don't have in my own collection. Let me know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe to join the Emperor's Legion, and I will see you all next time.